dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Governor Beshear called on Kentuckians to donate blood this afternoon. A blood shortage was a problem for many hospitals even before the tornadoes hit. The Red Cross had a blood drive this afternoon in Frankfort at the Capitol to assist patients in need of blood. Chelsea Jones has a recap of the day's events.
This blood drive is so important and so needed.
This afternoon, Governor Andy Beshear called on Kentuckians to donate blood. He said it's a way to give back to areas devastated by recent tornadoes.
It's truly giving a little bit of you to somebody else.
Beshear said hospitals were facing a blood shortage before the tornadoes. This afternoon, the American Red Cross held a blood drive in the Capitol Rotunda.
There are ongoing needs. There are trauma patients that need blood. There are cancer patients that need blood.
During the event, Candy Atkinson rang a bell in honor of Kentuckians who have died from COVID-19. The bell also ringing for the 77 killed in latest storms. One person is still missing from Hopkins County.
In the annex, we lost one of our own friends that work with us every day due to the high water in Franklin County.
Beshear gave an update on the devastation, standing next to his dog, Winnie, for emotional support.
Dawson Springs was one of my safe places, and most of it is not standing. But with that said, I'm blessed. And so my job is to be as strong as I can for others.
He felt it was his duty to raise his sleeve and give blood. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman doing the same by his side.
And I'd like to think that I'm doing something for Mayfield, for Dawson Springs, for Freeman, and everybody else.
At the Capitol, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
And Governor Beshear's office tells us about 183 Kentuckians were injured during the tornadoes. And again, the death toll is now up to 77 in Kentucky. As part of Gray Television's partnership with the Salvation Army, WYMT is helping raise funds for those impacted by the deadly tornadoes in Kentucky and the nation's heartland. When you support the Salvation Army Disaster Services, 100% of your donation is applied to the disaster survivors in those communities. You can text HL Tornado to 51555 to make a donation to the Salvation Army.
Well, thankfully, we are not dealing with any severe weather issues across the mountains today, but we are dealing with a few showers out there. Let's take a look at that Jenkins camera, and those street lights are on as that sun begins to set. And right now, we're looking to see mostly dry conditions in Jenkins. Over to Pikeville now, it really sums up the day we've had for our Friday. Mostly cloudy, pretty gloomy and soggy at times as those showers continue rolling through the mountains. Up on Pinpoint Doppler, not raining everywhere, but a few of us are looking at some light to moderate rain from Pikeville stretching up towards Martin County. Over to Paintsville, you guys getting in on some showers as well. West Liberty, Jackson, Beattyville, Annville, all you guys getting in on some light rain right now, and these passing showers will continue throughout the rest of tonight. Those temperatures right now in the upper 40s to lower 50s, 49 for Prestonsburg and Pikeville, 52 here in Hazard, 48 in Urban, 45 for Moorhead and Ashland. Throughout the rest of tonight, those temperatures not really going to change too much as we stay mostly cloudy. Not going to rain all night long either, but a few passing showers are possible. So if you are headed out, be sure to pack the rain gear just to be on the safe side. And as we go over the next few days, we are going to begin to dry out and clear out by next week. Got that full forecast coming up a little bit later. Steve.
Cameron, thank you. A federal judge overturned an opioid settlement of more than $4 billion Thursday. The settlement had given Purdue Pharma, the maker of the prescription painkiller OxyContin, and its given owners, the Sackler family, broad protection against civil litigation. It also resolved all outstanding civil suits against Purdue Pharma. The bankruptcy court said Thursday it lacked the statutory authority to give the Sackler family those protections. Following the initial settlement in September, members of the family continued to deny the allegations against them. A former suburban Minneapolis police officer took the stand today in her manslaughter trial for the shooting of a young black man. Kim Potter says she meant to pull her taser on Dante Wright, but accidentally fired her gun. The defense then rested its case, which now goes to the jury. CBS's Jennifer Mayurl has the story.
It just went chaotic.
Kim Potter took the stand in her own defense and sobbed as she described the moment she fired the fatal shot at 20-year-old Dante Wright.
I remember yelling, "Taser, taser, taser," and nothing happened. And then he told me I shot him.
The former Brooklyn Center police officer is charged with manslaughter in Wright's death last April. She says she meant to fire her taser, but mistakenly grabbed her gun after seeing the look on her fellow officer's face as he struggled with Wright during a traffic stop.
He had a look of fear on his face. It's nothing I'd seen before.
Police pulled Wright over for expired license plate tags and an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror, which is illegal in Minnesota. They discovered he had an outstanding warrant. Video from Officer Potter's body cam shows police attempting to arrest Wright. Before he gets back in his car, Potter then pulls out her gun and shouts taser, 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 before shooting Wright in the chest.
I shot him! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Under cross-examination, Potter agreed that she did not see a weapon on Wright.
Never saw a gun.
No.
She broke down while watching video of the scene, and the judge called a recess. Before Potter took the stand, a defense witness testified that an officer under high stress is more likely to make a mistake and confuse a gun for a taser. Jennifer Mayurl, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Potter resigned from the police force days after the shooting. She testified she did not want anything bad to happen to her coworkers. A Delaware judge is allowing a major defamation case between Dominion Voting Systems and Fox News to move forward. It comes after the judge found that Fox's coverage of fraud after the 2020 election may have been inaccurate. The judge says Dominion alerted the network's anchors and executives about information that disproved accusations of widespread vote switching. But the lawsuit alleges that Fox News continued to spread lies about fraud that hurt Dominion's business without reporting contrary evidence. Dominion will now get to unearth communications within Fox News as they gather evidence for the case. The cause of death of the 10 Astroworld Festival victims has been released. According to Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, the cause of death for all the victims was compression asphyxia. The manner of death was determined as an accident. In one victim's death, drugs were a contributing cause. On November 5th, 10 people died at the music festival as the crowd stormed the stage during rapper Travis Scott's performance. At least 300 lawsuits have been filed against Scott and the event's organizers. More than 97% of active U.S. military troops have been vaccinated against COVID-19. That means some 35,000 service members are unvaccinated. The military is in the process of reviewing thousands of requests for exemptions. So far, none have been granted. Both the Army and Navy say they will start discharging people who refuse to get the shot without an approved or pending exemption. Meanwhile, the Air Force started discharging members this week who refused to follow the vaccine mandate. Omicron is now the dominant coronavirus variant in Scotland. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon announced today COVID-19 cases have surged there by more than 40% in the last week. New infections are expected to accelerate further in the period ahead. The Scottish government has reiterated the message to people to stay at home and get a booster shot, and has asked businesses and hospitality sectors to reinstate measures to reduce COVID-19 transmission. President Joe Biden was in South Carolina today promoting the president's voting rights agenda. Speaking at South Carolina State, the president touched on the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, while other legislative priorities remain stalled ahead of Christmas. But to pass voting rights in the 50-50 Senate, lawmakers would likely have to remove the filibuster to move forward with just a simple majority. Some moderate Democrats have also expressed reluctance to change.
Changing the structure of the Senate in order to try to achieve a partisan advantage is a mistake for the Senate and a mistake for the country.
Just because Republicans will not join us does not mean Democrats will stop fighting on this issue.
As for the plan to pass the Democratic social spending and climate bill before leaving for the holidays, the White House acknowledges that won't likely happen until next year. Negotiations between the president and West Virginia moderate Joe Manchin continue. The annual Star Kids Christmas event was held today in Perry County. WYMT's Chas Jenkins spoke to some folks with the Hazard Independent School System.
A yearly tradition, helping those less fortunate.
The high school works with us, and the middle school and elementary school, we all three work together to make sure that our kids have a good Christmas.
Working with teachers to help the community.
They know their kids better than I do. And about October, I go through and I say, give me a list of kids who you think may need to be on the Star Tree.
Seeing around 50 students help buy presents for the cause.
We took them to Walmart, they went shopping, they bought the presents, brought them back to the high school, they wrapped the presents, and then yesterday they delivered all of these bags that you see down here for the kids and families that are picking them up today.
With assistance from retired teachers.
Came in this week and wrapped all day long, every day this week to try to help me get everything done and bagged up and ready.
Showing the importance of giving rather than receiving.
Some of us are very blessed, but there are a lot in our community who are not, and there are a lot of children that are going without, and a lot of families that are hurting. And this is just a small way that we can step up at Christmas and try to help make Christmas better for some of these kids.
Bringing holiday cheer to the city of Hazard. Chas Jenkins, WYMT Mountain News.
Fellner says they are already looking forward to next year's event. School officials gave away more than 80 bags of toys. Dolly Parton's stellar career is once again being recognized, but this time for breaking 3 world records. The country music icon was recognized after breaking 2 new record titles for the most decades on the U.S. Hot Country Songs chart for a female artist and most #1 hits on the U.S. Hot Country Songs for a female artist. The Jolene singer also broke her own existing record for the most hits on the U.S. Hot Country Songs chart by a female artist. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, Tiger Woods will return to golf this weekend for the first time since being sidelined by a near-deadly crash back in February.
It's a gloomy end to the work week, but some sunshine is on the way. I got those details coming up.